Why'd you have hives on your hands?
I don't know.
Well, don't scratch them. We've got this lotion.
Does anybody have any home remedies for hives?
This is driving her crazy.
I have hives on
my hands. We've got this little lotion.
Hands and on the sole. Oh yeah, get a nice tight shot of my hands, my hives.
Well,
how gross.
Maybe you have some decorating tips for the hives. I don't know.
But anyway,
we're going to.
I'm sorry.
No,
I won't scratch.
Yeah, don't scratch. Not good. Anyway, last week, a benefit was held to raise money for the degenerative eye disease retinitis pigmentosa. On the scene was our home reporter, Paula McClure.
Hi, Paula. Hello. How are you? Are you having a ball doing all this?
So much fun.
But you're traveling a lot.
Exactly. I'm getting to meet lots of people, and last week was terrific. Celebrities came out, and Jack Jones was the chairman and honoree, and I asked Jack to tell us about retinitis pigmentosa.
I got involved because a friend of mine had a disease, and I started asking questions, and I felt terrible about it. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a degenerating disease of the retina that you have tunnel vision. You get your vision gets smaller and smaller, and it goes away. And it's pretty frightening to live with the knowledge that you're going to lose your sight.
Everyone was here for a good cause, and I just couldn't resist asking a few celebrities for their favorite home show tips.
I understand that you have the best Thanksgiving dinner in town because you have a special dressing.
I cook a little bit. I make a great Thanksgiving dressing for a turkey that I put everything in. I put walnuts and chestnuts and pineapple and applesauce and lemon marmalade, and I put mushrooms, onions. I load it up with everything and a half a bottle of Cavassier, and it's wonderful. The smell of a turkey cooking with Cavassier in it is a wonderful smell.
Now, David, I know you're always full of surprises, so tell me your favorite tip.
We were talking about tips before, and this is one that you will never forget. This is a bartender's tip. I take a marshmallow, put it in the hole that is existent after you pull the tab on the Coke or whatever you're drinking, in this case 7-Up, right? You put the marshmallow into the hole. It keeps your fizz and all your effervescence in there, so it's ready for you when you want it the next time. And you can get fat eating the marshmallows at the same time.
I put coffee grounds on my azalea bushes. Isn't that nice? Get some place to put the coffee grounds, and it also is very good for them. I think they like the acid or whatever it is there, but it makes them bloom and healthy.
Now, I understand that you have a special meal, your Let's Make a Deal meal.
Well, I'm a great herring fancier. We went out and got a huge tin of Norwegian Matjes herring, and take the herring out and wash it complete of all the oils and everything they had on it, and using that, make it into tidbit size. Now in a jar, you can start with little tidbits of herring on one layer, then you can have some sugar on another layer, then some white vinegar, and then the herring and the sugar and the vinegar, and then you fill it up with water to the top, take a little spice bag, put it inside, and within 24 hours, you're going to eat the most delicious sweet and sour herring you ever had.
Eugene Roach of Webster had a terrific idea for getting rid of paint smells.
This bottle of vanilla extract? But if you're painting at home, any woodwork or ceilings or anything like that, pour a teaspoon of vanilla in the paint, it eliminates totally the paint odor.
You know, a lot of times you travel with things and they break. I remember from high school, the gym socks. So when I have something important, I just wrap. I travel with it all the time, see? I wrap things in my gym socks, including eyeglasses. See, then I can turn around and do Michael Caine. It's a good tip. Use it all the time. Ciao, darlings.
He was great. He had a couple of other voices, but for time we couldn't use all of them, but they were really terrific.
Gifted performer.
Yeah, he had a great packing tip.
Yes, I have
a
packing tip. How many times have you had to pack china or glasses or dishes, and so many times you say, oh, they're going to break, and you don't have these styrofoam little dealies, as I call them, popcorn. Air-popped popcorn. It's terrific. Air-popped.
Important air pop.
No oil or butter.
Why is it important that it's air-popped?
Because if you use oil,
then it'll get all over the glasses. So it has to be air-popped, and it's terrific. And it saves your dishes and china, and it's wonderful.
And you can have a snack.
And
then on your backpack, you'll eat. You'll eat lots of popcorn.
And of course, if you do have this stuff, throw a little butter on it. It'll last you all during the winter.
Terrific.
Great.
Great idea. Gary, you're wonderful.
Always
Another
thinking.
tip.
Our home reporter, Paula McClure. Thanks, Paula, very much. Coming up, another great tip, how to conserve water by growing a beautiful cactus garden. During the summer months, our water use increases by about 30%, primarily because we water our lawns, and we water them a lot. And with a drought over much of the country, we all need to conserve water. And yesterday we showed you a great new item. Well, actually, Dana did. She was with Dallas Rains. And that mini flush that saves, I guess, about half the water in your toilet tank.
More than half.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Today we're going to talk about another great water-saving idea.
Joining us are Keely Smith and Wendy Brockman, whose husband is Michael Brockman. And Michael is president of ABC Daytime, Children's, and Late Night Entertainment here at ABC.
That's a title. Welcome, Wendy.
Welcome, you guys.
Welcome.
Now, you are involved in a number of community projects, right, Wendy?
Yes, I am.
But I guess water conservation is one that is most near and dear to your heart. Why?
Well, about 2 years ago, I went to our water filtration plant and saw how important it was to save every bit of water we could. It goes through such a long process. And we don't have that much water all across the country now. So then I went on a trip to a city nearby where they've already required them not to water their lawns. And I decided I was going to do something and demonstrate to the community you could have a nice-looking garden with cactus.
All right, Wendy dropped into your house. Keely dropped into Wendy's house and really saw it in action. What'd you think?
Fabulous. It's interesting because cactus are as diversified as the people who like them. And Wendy did such a fabulous job. I mean, the yard is not only beautiful, but it blew my mind that Wendy had done it entirely herself. And the garden is not only beautiful, but it is a great way to keep from wasting water. And I'd like to show you the tape.
Cool water, clear water.
With an estimated 20 million acres of lawns in the United States, and scenes like this so frequent all over the country, it's time we all found ways to preserve our precious water supply. That's why Wendy decided to do her share for water conservation by replacing a traditional lawn with a beautiful, low-maintenance, water-saving cactus garden. Wendy, looks as though you're ready to plant at this exact moment.
Yes, I'm planting the old man of the Andes. First I have to bang the pot and loosen the soil, which I've already done. Then take rolled newspaper to protect the spines on the cactus as well as our hands. Turn it over. I've already prepared the soil with cactus mix that's blended in. I've dug the hole at least twice as deep or 3 times as deep.
This looks like it has a lot of perlite in it for good, even distribution of the water.
It loosens the soil and helps with the drainage. Pebbles act as a mulch, and the thicker you use them, the less often you have to water because it traps the water in the ground. When I water as infrequently as once a month to 6 weeks in the winter, these pebbles have kept the water in, and we conserve more water.
And Wendy really is conserving. She's reduced her water usage by over 30% since last year. Wendy took me on a tour of her garden where she's planted more than 150 cacti and succulents representing over 25 species.
This is my largest cactus in the garden.
It's actually a really beautiful example of what a prickly pear cactus is. This cactus is edible if you remove the spikes, and it also has large berry-like fruits on it, which are not only tasty for humans, but also for a lot of the animals.
This started out in a pot, and within 18 months has grown to this size. I'd like to show you my succulents over here.
You have 2 of my favorite. You have a panda with those beautiful soft leaves and the kalanchoe that's flowering. Actually, this is probably a good time to tell people that succulent not only manufacture their own food, but they also store their food, which makes them ideal drought-resistant plants. And I'll show you the leaf off this plant, which is very juicy and full of water, so that you can see that they really have that ability.
Yes, but the succulents have to be watered more frequently, about once a week, whereas some of the cacti can go 4 to 6 weeks at different times of the year. But my favorite cacti is my golden beryl.
Beautiful flowers right now.
The flowers last from 4 to 6 weeks. They open every morning and close at night. My oldest cactus in the garden is the organ pipe cactus, which is 20 years old.
Beautiful.
And then next to it starts my euphorbia family, which is planted here because it can grow so tall. I planted the taller cactus to the background up against the wall, and then planted the succulents on the edge so we were able to water them more easily.
Wendy has even continued her cactus garden into the backyard.
But I noticed the plants are very small.
Yes, I like to buy them young. And when you do, they cost about $250 to $650.
Compared to a plant that, say, costs $50 or $75 for a mature plant.
And now Wendy not only gets the joy of watching her plants mature, but also the satisfaction of knowing that the transformation of her lawn is helping to solve our water crisis and protect the environment.
Now, It's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, cactus will grow what, in about 25, 30% of the country?
About 25%, yeah, as far as the Rocky Mountains. But 40 degrees...
Rocky Mountains west.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Rocky Mountains west. But 40 degrees Fahrenheit is the limit. So after that, you're not going to have a lot of success with your plants. And remember that cactus come from 4 regions. They come from grasslands, they come from the mountains, they come from desert or near desert, and also tropical regions. So you want to try to determine what kind of light and what kind of moisture and humidity you have for your environment and choose cactuses accordingly.
But regardless of where you live in the country, you can have indoor cacti.
Beautiful ones. We have a beautiful window garden here, which is done with cacti. And remember that it's good to keep them in southern exposure and also next to a windowsill, providing that it doesn't get any cooler or warmer than the 40-degree limit that we talked about. And what happens is they grow beautifully here because it's the closest to that desert region. It's cool at night and it's very warm during the day.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you finished planting yours, Wendy?
Oh,
or are you going to
I'm
add a lot
never
more
finished.
to them?
You can always add.
Yeah.
I'll place some in other areas where I don't have cactus.
You
Gotta
can
be a
switch
little-
them around and do all sorts of things.
Got to be a little careful around the pool, though, don't you? Those cactus.
Sure do.
Yeah, but they're great for scratching hives.
Yeah, we've got a wonderful display here, Keely. Tell us a little bit about what's in here.
There's lots of varieties in here. There's a triagonia, there's a couple of variegated aloe, there's a tall cirrus cactus in the back. We have some rosette echeveria up front, and I also have one here that I brought in to show people how they can plant. And there's 2 ways to do it. You can plant with a leaf, just like this, and you can put it right into the soil and it will propagate. Or you can take the babies off as they cluster like this and just put a little hole in the garden, right, using a very good cactus mix, which has perlite in it. You'll see the white perlite in here in rocks, which is good for the drainage. And you want to keep the soil about an inch from the top or the lid of the container. And then up front I have an assortment of rocks, which we learned were good in Wendy's garden. So you can use all kinds of different stones or rocks or crystals or things like you see in this garden that have been used. And they not only are beautiful to look at, but they also keep you from having to water frequently.
Well, that's terrific.
Are there any plants over there, Wendy, that you do not
have all of
in your
those?
yard?
Show us which one.
Oh, she's got something fun.
This one?
What is that?
She wants that
What's that one
one.
that she picked out?
That one?
And that
And
one?
Isn't that
It
beautiful?
looks like a crown.
Astrophyllum. Well, we're just going to have to give you these as a gift for your yard then, because we have to make sure you have a species of everything.
You know what's great about this?
Thank you.
I just love the idea of being able to turn your lock shut and walk away and not worry about watering. Boy, I'm telling you, especially the droughts.
That's a great idea.
Practical and low maintenance.
And it looks warm. It's not that cold appearing, look without the grass. It looks great.
All right, our thanks to Keely Shea Smith and Wendy Brockman. Thank you, and have fun at the affiliates. Now, yesterday, Carol Duvall showed us how to gift wrap with napkins. Next, she's got another wrapping idea. We simply do it with wallpaper.
Hi there, and I'm going to show you how to save time by cooking now and serving later.
Good stuff in the kitchen today. Jackie's here to show us how to cook now and serve later. But first, Dana's with Carol Duvall.
All right, Carol, yesterday you showed us how to wrap presents with napkins, and today you're going to show us how to use wallpaper? Well, here's the napkins from yesterday. Now, does this take a long time, the napkins?
It does at first. It's one of those things I'd say sit around and wrap up packages, boxes sometime, then you have them. When you're really at the last minute panic, it takes a little long. Wallpaper, like that.
All right.
Well,
We
so
can do
beautiful things.
First of all, how'd you come up with the idea?
Truth is, and this is the truth.
She always tells the truth.
Well, not always. Anyway, no, it's both procrastination, desperation, and laziness, or all 3. No, procrastination, I don't get around to getting gift wrapping paper except Christmas stuff. Desperation, because I had a gift. And laziness, because I didn't feel like going out and buying any. So I thought, what have I got around the house? Well, I still have a supply of leftover wallpaper from the houses that the home has done. Well, from my own, but also the homes that we've done.
Okay.
And so I went in, and actually, this is the very first one that I did. I asked for the package back after I gave her the gift. I said it might be a show segment sometime. No, this is from one of the homes. This is from some of this ribbon I had. These are twisties that go around your garbage, and I just cut them narrow and made them into stems.
Look at that.
And this is masking tape I painted green.
That's great.
Anyway, that's where it all started. Well, then I got really carried away. Then I thought, well, so I started wrapping packages. And I thought, not everybody has leftover wallpaper.
Right.
So you go to the
look at this
wallpaper
idea.
store, and I'm sure a lot of you already know about this, that you can get these books free for the asking, even in Los Angeles, where they don't give anything away
But
for
these
free.
are the old books, you mean?
Yes, the ones
I
that
thought you just checked out a wallpaper book and never took it back.
Oh, no, 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 for heaven's sake.
All right,
anyway,
the old books they'll give you.
Now, you can, and then I got, so enthusiastic. What about big packages? Those are for small. I actually went and bought some wallpaper.
Yeah?
Bought a bunch of wallpaper just for gift wrapping. I said, I don't care whether it goes with my living room. I wanted to give wrap gifts. And you can buy it for, this was $5, and that's 33 feet. So how can you lose?
That's much less expensive than wrapping paper, isn't it?
You bet it is.
That would last forever.
We do the bows from it, too.
Okay. Do you do it wet? Do you wet down your
Well,
wallpaper?
I discovered something. I was doing them dry. Just the same as we did our bows yesterday, where I'd cut the paper, fold it in thirds.
Okay, you're making a bow now.
And then do the flat bows. Last night, God's truth, at midnight, I suddenly thought, hey, this is the kind of wallpaper that you wet and then put on, you know.
Yeah.
So I did one. I put it in like this.
Because it made it more pliable, right?
And yes, look what I discovered. Now you can do this either before or after you folded it. Doesn't make any difference. Then you can really make them look like bows.
Look at that.
Like this. And here's one. Look what I've dribbled all over our tablecloth. You don't do that on a tablecloth. Anyway, here's one. Put a centerpiece around it. This is a tie. Then you put them together like this. And you have a pretty bow. That's the kind I put on this. Now,
this package?
This package, I also wet all the paper before I even wrap the package. I mean, this is,
okay, so sometimes you can wet the paper, but you could also wrap it with dry paper.
So you can do this sort of a thing, or take a look at some of these that we have here. Now, this is done from the wallpaper book. So this is coordinated paper that we had, you see?
This is your plain wallpaper, and this is the border?
And this was the border, right. This is my bathroom paper. This is some I bought. Here you go. I mean, buy a roll like this, you've got a lifetime supply of gift wrapping paper.
Well, I'm glad you woke up at midnight with a great idea.
Oh, may I go to bed now?
Good night. Over to Jackie and Gary.
No desperation, simply inspiration. And we're talking about being able to cook now, serve later.
Yeah.
Obviously makes life a lot easier.
Well, you know, it's June and you're looking for a gift maybe for a bride or someone that's not, you know, just learning how to cook in the kitchen. This is from Reader's Digest. It's called Cook Now, Serve Later. More time with the family, less time in the kitchen. What's nice about this, Gary, is it shows you how to do things. First of all, if you need to dice, or look at this. It gives you everything that's in it, the calories, the protein, the carbohydrates, the cholesterol, the fat. More people are interested. Yes, indeed. And also, if you want to know how to dice, or if you want to know how to knead, or how you want to crimp a pie crust, by George, it shows you right there. Now, the other thing is, it gives you some very good hints. For instance, let's say if you cook one night, why not cook several things and then freeze them? So it tells you how you can go about doing that. For instance, let's say we're chopping onions. A very good hint is to take onions, put it in a little chicken broth, freeze it in ice cube trays, and then pop them out. 1 cube will flavor a nice dish.
Oh, okay.
Isn't that fun?
So
And look,
just do a little bit more when you prepare.
now look what we have here. We have some wonderful things. First of all, this is a 24-hour salad. You make it the night before. We garnished it after, but it'll actually hold, lettuce and cucumbers and tomatoes and cottage cheese. Yeah. Here is a chicken curry with currants to die for, and you can freeze it and reheat it. Here's fiery shrimp. If you can't stand the heat, don't make it. It's marvelous. And, of course, a wonderful artichoke squares. And I've done this for years in our kitchen, and it's a great before, after, main dish, whatever. I'm going to show you how to make that right now.
Artichoke squares.
Yeah, okay. You can nibble while we do
I'm
this.
going to nibble before you do it.
First of all, the recipe's going to come up at home on top, and we're going to kind of go through it real quick, like, so you can see it at home. It's 2 tablespoons of the oil from the marinated artichoke hearts and a yellow onion, clove of garlic.
This is good.
Cook that 5 minutes, and I've already done that, okay.
Yeah.
And next 4 eggs until frothy. And then you stir in a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs and a couple tablespoons of parsley and some oregano and some hot pepper sauce and a couple of cans of the artichoke hearts that you've chopped really fine, and of course 8 ounces of cheddar cheese. Now let me show you how easy this is. We do this a lot because we go to the Hollywood Bowl, and it's a nice
Now you chop the artichokes up. See,
yeah,
that's what I like about
Yeah,
it.
I do too. Yeah, so you know. And these are the marinated ones, and they're all across the country. You can have them.
That is so good.
Yeah, and look at this. Now this is how simple it is. Now for those of you that are watching your cholesterol, you can get low-fat cheese, and you can use the egg beaters or the ersatz eggs, if you will. Do that. Spray an 8-inch pan like this. Mix it up. Look how nice. And if you wanted to, I sometimes even have been known to put in Parmesan cheese to make it a little more Italian, if you like, and just put it off, you bake it off, and there it is. Now that's all there is to it.
Thank you very much. Newsletter number 127, and we'll be back with more Home Show right after this break and messages. morning again, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Gary Collins.
And I'm Dana Fleming.
Coming up, you know, we began building our starter home in Tehachapi, California on May the 3rd. I don't know why it seems so long ago. And it's really taking shape. Today we're going to see how we put up our Masonite siding and show you the siding that's best for the weather conditions in your area.
It seems like it's taken so long because they've gotten so much done.
Maybe that's it.
And today's winner in our how-to video contest shows us a simple way to make a padded headboard for a child's bed for under $30. It's a great idea.
Right now, though, doesn't it just drive you crazy when you're looking for something that you know is out there, but you just can't seem to find it?
Yes, it does.
Thank you very much.
Well, I was waiting for them to answer. Well, for 17 years, Jim Tice has been finding
I've heard a lot of excuses in my day. That's the best.
Unusual, rare, or bizarre items imaginable after the seekers have given up hope. And here to show us
I think it's the hives on your hands. I do.
And here to show us some of his finds and how to do it is Jim Tice.
This guy is terrific.
Did you understand anything
Sure
I
they
said?
did.
We've got a company called Finders Keepers.
All right, doesn't that drive you crazy, folks?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
See, that's what I was waiting
That's what she was waiting for.
All right. Anyway, it's called Finders Keepers. How'd you come up with the idea?
Oh, back 17 years ago, I was in the advertising business, and all my peers in the industry kept asking me to find props for TV commercials, industrial films, and so forth, and it spread from there to the general public. And I decided one Christmas Eve that there ought to be a place in the world for a guy that searches for anything.
Well, evidently there is, because you get some unusual requests. What's the most unusual request you've fulfilled?
Well, there are a lot of them that qualify for that. We do a lot of everyday searches for the home and family and what have you, but the most unusual, I think, was a pair of fleas dressed in wedding costume.
Oh, look at it. Look at that.
Oh, yes, those are blown up 500 times.
Was that the thing that was like the rage in the 30s? Or
in the 1920s, it swept the world. They were on the street corners. It was like the hula hoop or a fad.
Yeah, but you know what happened?
What?
The marriage didn't work out, and she got all the custody of the chicks.
All
right. Okay. Does it cost much to do the...
No, not really. We charge on a percentage basis. Based on the cost of the item you're searching for, we find the source, they quote, and then there's a percentage fee. It ranges from 0.5% to 30%.
What's one of your best finds?
Oh, I think the best find was a gift that a lady wanted to give. June Lockhart called me and wanted me to find a Howdy Doody rocking chair for her as a gift for a very close friend.
From the series, way
yes,
back
from
when.
1949.
Right.
We found several over the years, but they were deteriorated and we couldn't use them. And finally, I was on I believe I was on a television show or a newspaper article or something, and a lady called in and found one in her attic. There are many treasures in people's attics, and we immediately got it to her.
Well, June was so impressed with Jim's abilities to find not only the chair but everything else that she's here today. She brought it down to the studio in person to show us. June Lockhart.
Hi, June.
Hi.
Glad to see you. Thank you.
How long have you been looking for this chair?
Well, isn't this a little gem?
That is
well,
great.
my dear friend Bob Korff moved here at the age of 4 with his parents, Libby and Lester. And as they were leaving, of course, his parents said, well, we don't have room for your Howdy Doody chair. So all his life, he felt grief about having to have given this up. In fact, it was one of the first things he mentioned to me when I met him. And I thought to myself, if I can find a Howdy Doody chair for him, it would be just great. And of course, I felt maybe you can understand his poor dear parents saying, no, it must have been some big scene there. Anyway, so I had talked about it, and I'd kept thinking about it, and then finally I read about Jim in the New York Times. And I thought, that's the man. So I called him, and he went on the search, and it took us about 10 years of corresponding back and forth, and he found the decal first, sent that to me, and of course I put it in my Howdy Doody file. And then finally he called, and he said that it was in the best condition of anyone that he'd seen so far, and then we just needed a new rocker, and I took it to a place on La Brea, and they refurbished it.
Describe the moment when young man,
Bob
now grown,
comes
yes,
in. He was 40 years old about at this time now, and had never ceased talking about this chair all the time, but I kept my mouth shut. And then finally, he came over to my apartment one day, and I said, Bob, I have something for you. And I had this in the corner with a towel over it or something, and I went over and I just pulled it off, and he looked at it, and he said, Howdy Doody.
That is terrific.
His face was so
Our younger audience won't know who we're talking about, probably.
Oh, I don't know. He's been back. They've had a couple of specials and so forth. Now, of course, we get many, many requests here at the Home Show to help find things, find people even. I'm sure you do as well. We took a couple, and we put Jim hot on the trail. We got a letter from Bill Lawton of...
Bill Phillips.
William
Phillips, yeah.
I'm sorry, of Lawton, Oklahoma. It says, for the past 4 months, my wife and I have been turning the southwest upside down, looking for a brand name stove. She's left-handed, and she wants a large burner on the left front of the range. And they've had salespeople, they've researched catalogs, they've done everything, and they've come up dry. So Jim got in his Range Rover, put on his outfit, and look what he came up with.
Right. Jim can't find anything unless he's dressed like this, by the way.
Well, describe this and tell us how difficult it was to find it.
I went by Topeka to find it. There's a left-hander...
Topeka, Kansas.
Yes, Topeka, Kansas. A left-handers association, or international, they call themselves. And they sent me a list of all the stores around the world that deal in left-handed products. Then I did some local research, and I found a local plant store over here in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And now, that was Donahue's. They, in turn, introduced me to Decor. Decor makes the perfect thing, not only for left-handers, but it works for them great, but also right-handers if they want a particular configuration.
Yeah.
These are little modules.
Oh, so you can put as many in as you want.
Yes, you can set your module in. You can have your burners on the front, on the left, or right, or whatever you want.
All right, so...
What if you have an old stove, though, and you need to find parts? A lot of people have old stoves, and they need to find parts.
While I was looking for this, I found two wonderful organizations. There are two part supplier associations in this country. One is NAPSA out of Chicago, Illinois. That stands for National Plants Part Suppliers Association. The other is APDI, APDI, Appliance Parts Distributors Association in Detroit. Okay. They both agreed that if anybody has that kind of thing, they would be happy to put it in their newsletter and get it out to all the parts distributors in the world.
This will be in our newsletter as well, as information how to get a hold of Jim. Okay.
Okay, one more quick letter.
Put him on the trail of another one.
Yep. Karen Moeller of Cincinnati, Ohio, wrote to us, and she said, Dear Dana and Gary, I'm writing in regards to my niece Jackie, who is 7 years old and has high blood pressure. My sister needs to monitor Jackie's blood pressure daily, but she cannot find a blood pressure cuff small enough for a child. And, oh, look, there's the child. So, Jim, did you find it?
You bet we did. And I made it in 2 telephone calls, called UCLA Medical Center.
That's what I find so extraordinary, 2 calls.
Right, yeah, one took 10 years, and this is 2 calls.
Right, and they had a supplier who they introduced me to their West Coast representative. It's Tice is the name of the company.
Tyco.
And he, in turn, David Young is his name, he introduced me to their national headquarters, which is out in North Carolina. Now, look at these. Here's an example of the big one.
That's the big one. Look at this.
Compared to the one for infants. Now, our young lady that needs to be monitored daily for blood pressure has a condition. She'll probably take the child size, which is right here, and she's 7 years old. So we have them for children, infants, and adults, and they even make some little decor for children,
All right, that is great. As I said, this will be a newsletter number 127. We also gave Jim another assignment. You know, we really don't know anything about you other than what you've told us. So we wanted to get a little background on Dana, and we sent Jim searching the video files, and this is what he came up with.
You guys.
Where'd you get such style?
Where to get my style? It's Snooty Tooty.
Snooty Tooty! Where was that? How long ago?
That is at Cake TV in Wichita, Kansas, about 150 years ago. And Ruth Ann Tim, I'm going to kill you.
All right.
She was the producer, Ruth Ann Tim.
Anyway,
Cake
that just shows you Tice's abilities. Thank you, Jim. Thanks, Dave. June, thank you. All right, coming back, Kitty Bartholomew, and we're up in Tehachapi again with our starter house. That is so cute.
That was the first commercial I ever did.
And the hair was down to your gipple bone, too.
Yeah. And you know what?
What?
The store went out of business.
Okay.
The commercials didn't work, I guess. I don't know.
Well, anyway, Kitty's here, and she's having as much fun with this as we are. Kitty Bartholomew. Now, only, 6 weeks or so, we've been working on the house up in Tehachapi, and we're really making progress.
We are. It's unbelievable how fast it's going. This week, we're putting the siding up, which is kind of neat. It really makes the house look complete. So we're going to see a little tape on that. But first, we're going to have a little recap about all the things that have happened since the beginning of May.
All right.
Now, here we are at the factory. That was my first trip there, watching it being built. There's the foundation for the house that we're building. There the truck arrives with our house. Unloading the truck. Oh, what an exciting day that was. There are the floor joists. We're installing the walls. The plans are so easy to follow. You know, it's real simple to follow them and know what to do. There's our first floor going up. More walls. Pounding. Boy, am I getting an expert.
You good at that?
I'm getting good at nailing. Look at it. Can you believe it? It's only been since the beginning of May? The roof going up, the windows.
It's great.
That's really
there
something.
we go. And remember,
it's a staircase, and you made some modifications
made some
on
changes.
that. I never did get my hot tub, by the way.
Well, it's not over yet.
It is as far as my hot tub.
And the skylight, that was exciting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What a difference it made in the lighting. I can't believe it. And the steps, boy, and the fireplace. I remember that fireplace.
I remember your face.
There we go.
And that's our balcony.
And the deck.
Yeah, the deck,
More
the
stairs.
coming down.
Well, today we're going to put the siding up, but before we do that, we have to wrap the house in this building paper. Now, you're probably used to seeing some black felt paper. This is a really state-of-the-art new protective vapor barrier. It allows the house to breathe. So, you're familiar with this machine. It's real easy. All we're going to do is staple it on. Now that we've finished wrapping the house with vapor block paper, we're ready to put the siding on. We have chosen a Masonite brand color lock siding in a driftwood gray. It's a light gray color, which will coordinate well with our dark gray tile roof when we put it on. The siding is really easy to install. The panels overlap and lock together with a sealing lip on the back of each panel. You want to check each one to make sure they're level. Each piece is then nailed at the top. That way, the next panel hides the nails.
Okay, Kitty.
Well, today's work is finished, the siding is up, and I think it looks great. You know, the best part of the whole thing is that it doesn't have to be repainted for the next 15 years. But, guys, I think you've oversided. I'm in here. You're getting carried away.
You guys are getting so clever out there.
All the endings of
So do I.
pieces.
Where do you see next week? What do you see?
Okay, all right.
Okay.
But now, for the moment, I'm really fascinated and very interested in this siding because it is so different from what I associate with siding.
Right. I think people usually think of aluminum or vinyl siding. Now, this is a Masonite siding, and it's real hardwood fibers that have been pressured together and sealed. And the glue that they use is real sap from trees. It's a real natural material.
Okay.
See that there. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is really, I mean, it's the best of wood and the best of vinyl, obviously.
It really is, and it's thick, so it has insulating properties as well.
The other thing is that it's kind of, it has a matte finish. It's not
not real shiny.
You know, I think it just really makes it look like wood versus some of the other ones, which are good too. I mean, they're really maintenance-free. You know, the vinyl and aluminum. 15, 20 years, you don't have to repaint their house. And all of these products can be put over existing houses.
They can.
As well as new construction.
Now, one of the things you showed us in there was this paper. Now, it doesn't seem very thick. I mean, it doesn't seem like it would keep moisture out.
Well, it's an incredible new thing. You can't even rip it. It's strong as can be.
Yeah. Really try. Really try.
This is that stuff they put peanuts in on airplanes.
No, forget it, Gary. You can't do it. But it's kind of replacing.
You can't tear it.
Well, let me just give you a
Why
little bit
can't I
more. I
tear
want to give you
this?
more information
What?
about this siding.
I want to tear
Look at it.
Oh, you go on, Kitty.
Okay.
I want to tear
now,
it.
I think people want to learn about siding because
This drives me nuts.
Gary, I want to tell you that, you know, if you live in the coastal area, that aluminum can corrode. So when you're choosing a siding for your house, not all of them are right for your area, depending on what your climate is. Okay, so that's really important to figure out. And vinyl can warp. So you don't want to use vinyl, say, in the desert or if you've got a lot of hot sun. So, and usually they're sold by 100-foot, 80 to 100-foot widths.
Yes.
Okay, and so if you buy it yourself, the vinyl is usually less. But if you have a professional install all three of these kinds, it's pretty much going to be about the same for installation. Yeah, it is.
Okay. And this stuff is neat because you don't see the nails or anything. It's great.
Yeah, and it's not shiny, which I like that.
All right, what's coming up? What's going to happen next time we see you?
Well, next week we're going to see how we put in the plumbing, the rough plumbing, and the rough electrical. And we'll have a few surprises.
Okay.
Always
a surprise.
Keep
an eye on it. Right. Next, our how-to home video contest winner, and we're going to learn how to, and maybe we'll have a couple of tips for the hives. Anyway, we're going to learn how to make a padded headboard for a child's bed for under $30.
I'm going to wrap this around you. I'm going to wrap you.
The home decorating segment is brought to you by Windex from Dracket, the home care company.
Hi, my name is Chris, and this is my son, Brett.
And this is where Brett sleeps. Not really, he still sleeps in our room, but this is Brett's room. When Brett's a little older and can sleep in a regular-sized bed, this is where Brett's going to sleep. Now what I'm going to show you how to do today is make a padded headboard like this for under $30. This headboard has removable toys for children. You could also make an adult bed too.
That's great.
That is Christine Costa of Scotts Valley, California, and it's such a cute idea.
Yeah, it really is. It's something, I'm going to try it. I really am. I'm not very good at these things, but I think I'm going to try it.
I'll bet you'll be real good after a while.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
on
this
the home
stuff is
show.
wonderful.
Are you kidding?
She is today's winner in our home show how-to video contest, and she's going to show us how to make that headboard. Take a look.
These are the following items you're going to need to make the headboard. First, you need a piece of plywood the size of the headboard you will like. You could leave it square like I did, or you could arch it. You need batting, enough to cover the headboard. This is double thickness, so it works out to about 2 inches. You're also going to need a glue gun, a staple gun, fabric. This is child's fabric, and this is an example of an adult fabric. Velcro, sewing glue, or puff paint. Now on to step 1. I've cut out the batting to fit the piece of plywood, and I've also cut 3 strips to go on the side and the top of the headboard. I've heated up the glue gun. Always make sure you test the glue on the batting to make sure it doesn't melt it. Now what I'm going to do is glue all along the edge of the headboard and glue the batting onto it, and then I'm going to use the staple gun and staple these strips to the side and top. This is what the completed headboard looks like with the batting. We have it stapled on the sides and the top. Next, you take your fabric and you get about 4 inches extra on all sides, and you staple the top first, like I've done here with the staple gun, and then you're going to flip it over, staple the bottom, and then once you have the top and the bottom stapled, then you're going to lay it on the floor and bring in the sides and staple it. Voila! There's the completed headboard. Now you attach your accessories by cutting out that rocket ship fabric I have. You can sew around it with another piece of fabric, put it inside out, stuff it, and then attach the Velcro with the sewing glue onto the back of the rocket ship like I did with this car for the other one, and on the clouds so no one would see it, and then they'll stick on like that. Here's the completed headboard. Now all you need to do is bolt it to your frame.
Isn't it adorable?
It is.
You can take the toys off.
Congratulations to Christine, who is on the phone now from Scotts Valley, California. Christine, wonderful idea. Where'd you get the idea?
I've seen many for adult beds and stuff, and I was walking in the fabric store, and they had so many wonderful fabrics for children, I thought, why not make a 3-dimensional one for a child?
Now, we understand that, well, you have to understand the rules of our contest say that you can only enter 1 time, but we understand that if you could enter twice, you have a great idea for another video that you would make?
Yes, how to cause a divorce by asking your husband to help you make a how-to video.
What happened?
What happened?
Oh, well, he got home late from work about 9 o'clock, and I begged him to help me make it, and he started videotaping it. And what we thought would only take about 20 minutes, we were up till 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you won.
How much did this cost you, Christine?
$28.
That's
great. It is such a wonderful
Yeah.
idea.
Oh, and it's really easy.
Okay, we
well,
have your check
congratulations.
here.
Now, Dana came up with this idea, which is
All
such
right.
a clever idea.
You know, you have all the toys that are attached by Velcro onto the headboard. Well, this is your check on a little hot air balloon, and it's got Velcro on the back. So you can attach that to your headboard, and you'll have a little memento.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much, Christine, and congratulations, and good luck in the $1,000 prize this week.
Thank you.
Now, during the month of July, everybody, we're taking a short little vacation from our how-to video contest. Doesn't mean it's over. We're going to have winners all through June, and then we'll go back to it in August. Yeah. But for now, we'd like a video of your vacation.
That's right, and only make it 3 minutes long. It could be any vacation you've had in the past, as long as you edit down to 3 minutes, or one that you're taking right now. And also make sure that it is not a commercial. We have cautioned you, don't shoot the outside of a theme park or the signage or anything like that. And make it less than 3 minutes long, and send it to Vacation Videos, P.O. Box 29904, Los Angeles 90029.
And be sure we get it by July the 18th.
Yeah.
Now, We did get a couple of things about your hives. Dishwasher Scott from Brooklyn, Arkansas says, for your hands, use a UV light box. They do that with psoriasis.
Okay.
Here's one from Nova Scotia, Corinne Harlan. Take baking soda and water, make a paste, rub on affected area, but don't rub it in. It takes the itching and the sting.
My mom told me to use that
Is that
last
right?
night. Yeah.
Here's one about rubbing alcohol from Peggy Hanley from Muscata, Wisconsin. Rubbing alcohol and refrain from scratching for about 5 months. I mean, 5 minutes.
5 months.
Yeah,
well, that ought to do it.
Yeah,
if it's not cleared up
All right, stay with us. And thanks for your tips on the itches. To make time to have time. Well, that's it for today. Now, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Carol also will not be here. We're traveling to Three Rivers, Michigan.
It's right about there.
And she does people in Michigan do this. This is Detroit, this is Three Rivers, and this is Grand Rapids.
That's great.
Carol's from Grand Rapids, so this is just a hop, skip, and a jump from your hometown.
Yeah, and I'm going to go.
And you're going to be doing the show from there on Friday.
Miss tomorrow will be broadcasting the show from Three Rivers on Friday, so it's going to be lots of fun. So,
well, I'm going to miss
what's going to happen tomorrow?
Well, there's not going to be hardly anyone here.
Oh, I'll bet.
Just Shadow Stevens.
What?
Brad Maw. James Ingram, one of my favorite singers.
And
Dallas Rain.
Well, you better get rid of the itchies then.
Why don't you go to Michigan alone, Gary? I'll stay with Dana.
Yeah, they're going to be here for a father-child fashion show.
Oh, good.
Plus, Dr. Michael Resnick is going to explain why the sun could be killing you, and Keely Shea Smith will be here, and Thelma Williams with paper mosaics and grapefruit baskets.
Well, we'll think about it.
Have fun.
Okay.
I'll see you in a little
All right,
while.
bye-bye. See you on Friday. Dana.